Peace, fam. Dr. She in the house. You're not going to be able to help yourself with autoimmune diseases and these sicknesses that you have that you cannot detect the origin of until you clean up your environment. Part of cleaning up your environment is removing toxicity. Your toxicity is in your soap, your toxicity is in your lotion, your toxicity is in your hair care. The stuff that comes off the shelf is usually laden with chemicals and toxins and fake perfumes. Go to 25000yearcycle.org, get yourself some proper soap. We have 3 different types, and some proper skincare, Silk Care, which is one of the best skincare products you're going to get in existence right now. 25000yearcycle.org. Dr. She out. Link in bio. Peace.
Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali. Oh my goodness. There's so much going on, but I've been dedicated to writing my latest novel, which is really amazing that I've done that because there's so much I want to discuss, but I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. That always seems to be the best. And so what I wanted to specifically share is the end of feminism, which is complicated because my gut instinct is to just get up and whoop and holler and jump for joy, because I've always, and I had on my other channel a video I did, I hate white women's feminism, and because of it being a strategy that took advantage of white women's propensity. They call them Karens. And they used to be called Becky's. I still call them Becky's, but they wanted, I think, to increase the amount of others. Like I saw one article about a white male Karen the other day. And so I think that typifies what we've all come to know is, so many Black men who've been put in jail or back in the day lynched based on the false testimony of a either hysterical or vicious white woman. I didn't do that to them. I wish they could find some way to stop, but it is a sense of privilege where I don't know if that they heard, daddy say to call him princess too much and they believed it, but it also just seems to be just a physiological tendency to feel nothingness unless you are considered the center of all attention. I've read so many articles about white women who, through a gap in their age, are considered just the bee's knees of beauty, the standard of beauty. And then once that time quickly passes, because they will wrinkle quickly, not all of them, but I'm talking the science. I'm not trying to be insulting. And that's how, you gotta, walk around on eggshells when it comes to them, because otherwise they get fragile. And so in that, they just seem to have a nothingness where they feel if no one's paying attention to them, no one's worshiping them, it means they don't exist. That's not our problem. Unless we take on their mindset, which not regular you and me, Black you and me, we're so far removed from needing these people's approval, especially if we are sane enough to love what the Creator made us to be, which is beautifully Black, then we really overall are pretty rooted to accepting that, I ain't make the sun. I can't tell a sun to do this and do that. But with these guys, they got that dimming thing they're, trying to enact across the planet because they've made a terrible nuclear mistake And if you go, I'll leave a link to the International Atomic Energy Agency's map of all the places they found radiation, specifically, not microchemicals. They don't have anything about microplastics, forever chemicals, or any other stuff they put out there. They started dimming, they started, seeding the atmosphere when they recognized that radiation is rather hot. And I'm talking man-made radiation, okay? And so these folks will tend to try to hide their hubris in their deeds, where they don't think about the long-term consequences of what they're doing. Like when they abducted our ancestors, they didn't ponder long-term consequences of bringing in a people who are very DNA, the very melanin tends to make us want to lean towards civilized behavior. But we've been so brainwashed by these folks, we think that they are the definition of civilization. So we will look to them as if we're not following what they have to say, then that means that we're just, not the it people. When you look at something like this, where this boxer, she's an Italian boxer, after just like seconds in the ring with a man, it's a man. That's part of their craziness, where it's like, oh, everybody's equal. There's no difference between men and women. It's the whole basis of feminism. And he punched her in her face so hard, and she'd never been hit like that. And she watched, I guess, too many of these hella weird movies where they got all these super macho female characters who could beat up 20 men all at once. And she didn't, she's, I've never been hit by that. And she's crying. This is so unjust. This actually seeds into another agenda that the satanic elites are going to want to unleash, which is everybody's coming after the white Christians. Everybody hates the white Christians. They never look at what exactly are you doing, just like the Karens. They never look at what the hell are you doing. They never look at the feminists. I'm talking about the feminists looking at themselves and saying, well, what are you asking for? That's just impossible according to biology. Where you just want to whine and cry and be such a spectacle that people won't say, why the hell are you there in the first place? And it makes me think of Serena. I mean, I don't even know the, like way who this person is or whatever. Because she just looks really tiny compared to Serena Williams. And she was looking at, I mean, the whole thing was thoroughly satanic. We know that. Dionysus, that's just Pan, that's just every single debauchery that they ever wanted to commit, that they're trying to force feed the whole world. But a lot of people are rejecting it, and now they're turning it into a anti-white Christian thing. But so Serena's all shocked, like she's about to faint. She's wearing the red dress. So she is the, one of the sacrificial things, like a Marina Abramovic spirit cooking dinner. And she's just like really horrified. Wasn't her family, or isn't her family like Jehovah Witness or some really observant sect of Christianity? And she's looking at all of this and it's upsetting her this much. But then the very next day, there she is in the crowd. Bill Gates was in there and all the rest of it. And she got them big, thick glasses on. I'm looking at the image in the glasses. I don't know what the hell she's looking at, but it looked like she looked zonked out. I'm just saying, it's my personal observation, or, I don't know if she was or she wasn't, but she would have to be to have responded like this in this photo where she looks like, so how is this even possible that she's just giant like that? Somebody must have just superimposed it. But for her to have this response come from her background, you would think that she would know these are the last days. You need to be nowhere around these folks, as if the very next day day, everything's honky-dory. That's why I'm not watching the Olympics at all, right? And so this is all being orchestrated by these dudes because they never, ever stop. It's going to get crazier and crazier because at the fundamental root of it is their evil. And with their evil, they exploded Fukushima, but every single nuclear power plant has been releasing radioactive hell on Earth with a projected it, just target at Black us. And now they're just expanding it because I've been, harping against the sea moss. I don't know what they're doing about the radioactive rice. They're figuring that Africa is so friggin' deluded, they'll pay no attention whatsoever to it. But with the sea moss, now they're like, oh, white people, have you tried sea moss? That completely thwarts their promotion that all of this is against white Christians. But it's just so much. Like they'll just, I go and I read the blogs of these different more truthful white political analyzers, and I know all white people, they get on code. They get on code 100%. They never discuss black people like me, black people like Black Up in Your Face, Black and I can't remember, Mad Black TV. That's what his channel's called now because they've taken down so many of his channels. But the analysis he did on Kamala Harris was so on point. Dr. Shi also, his analysis on just us voting for someone simply whether Kamala Harris is black or purple. None of it matters because black is not a political demographic. I know we're black. I know it is a science. It is a logistical method of creation. But at the same time, if we're beholden to these people, then it winds up just being a more believable method of going straight to the nothingness. And so all of these, we have to think through what these people throw at us, the feminism, the this and that, because I know when it comes to feminism, this even could be a setup where they have all these trans sutured people, and a lot of them they didn't get anything lopped off. They just say they're a woman, and because everybody's equal, well, that's what you are, even though you got plenty of testosterone all up in there since the day you were formed in the womb. And so that could just be a way of bringing all women to their knees, so that then they can once again, white men, control completely, so that they are just terrors, absolute terrors on, not that they've ever stopped, obviously. Just go ask it's got to be like 30,000 dead whales in the Pacific Ocean specifically, and those are the ones that they could count. Okay, the ones you could count are the ones that are closest to the shore. There's all sorts in the depths of the Pacific where they can't go, right? So they're already bringing terror. And this way they can make feminism look like the ridiculous philosophy that it is, that was put together by the Rockefellers, right, in order to destroy the family, which they've managed to do in many, many circumstances, but not all, right? There's a whole bunch of beautiful black families out there, right? But this way, they could just make women look like we're all perpetual idiots. No, we're not. Dr. Shi is the head of our family, without question, because he has skills and abilities as a man that I am profoundly grateful for, that I acknowledge I need in absolute control of my life, not because he's a dictator, but because he's a facilitator, because he can recognize a threat faster than I can and can respond in a way that only a man can. And because he's a facilitator, he knows I'm a full human being. Ain't no abuse going up in here. Ain't no dictatorships going on up in here, but that's because it's a black household. We're rooted to sanity. Okay? That's all I want to say. Bye, feminism, but just be careful because when they take this down, they group us up with all their nonsense. The wokery, when that's just coming from the corporations, everything, the DEI, they got us up in there like, what? And then they put the, like drag queen story hour folks all up in there like that's coming from us. Like all these hospitals actually lopping off children's genitalia is coming from us. Like we own. They don't talk about the nuclear. No, they never mention that. Notice? But we don't own those things either. Okay? All right. Mwah! I love you. Go to 25,000yearcycle.org. Get your heel on. I ain't joking. If I just look at, I have never changed. I have never diluted the potency of what must be revealed and shared. So go on over there, get Furnace of Affliction, because it's got real remedies in there. That's why they censored it on Amazon. Okay, it's on Amazon if you want to get it there, but it's a heck of a lot more affordable on 25,000 Year Cycle. And you can get my soap. If you live outside of the contiguous United States, we got to check and see, because a good brother, oh my goodness, he couldn't get his soap. He ordered all the way from the UK because they added extra charges when it got to the UK. Supposed to be able to pay for all of that at the country of origin, but they didn't put any of that up in there. So we'll have to do some research into that. All right. I'm so sorry about that, brother. I really am. But the soap is extraordinary. People keep reordering because when they find out, when they bathe with it, they're like, dang, this stuff actually does heal the skin. Yes, it does. And Dr. She has his formulas, which are, oh my God, you ain't going to a Western trained doctor and getting this type of healing where you don't have to come back. You just follow the protocols, get the guidance, and enjoy your health. All right? All right. Straight black pride, utilized in submission to Allah, gives us the deed to forever. Peace and blessings.